How many times have you seen this scenario? You go and purchase a game and suddenly you're faced with that decision. Standard, deluxe, or something else. Each one offering exclusive content, tempting you with just a little bit more for a little bit more money. But what if I told you that this whole system is rigged, and it's rigged to make the cheaper versions of the game feel incomplete? And that final tier, well, that's the one that they actually want you to buy. A lot of these games these days are designed to milk every last dollar from you. And you know what the scariest part is? At this point now, we've just been trained to accept it. Gaming can be an expensive hobby. If you aren't buying a $400 to $700 console, you're spending anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 on a gaming PC. But it doesn't just end there. Technology is always advancing, and because of that, you have to keep updating your PC or buying a new console every few years. Or if you're like me, you're doing both. Let's not forget about the games either. Even games used to be cheaper. What used to be $60 to $70 is now more like $70 or $90, depending on the game edition that you buy and the region that you live in. On top of that, game companies are always trying to maximize the money that they make off of just one game sale. Here, let me paint you a picture. These days, there are usually 3 types of editions when buying a video game. There's the standard edition, the deluxe edition, and then there's this third tier. The third tier goes by many different names. The Premium Edition, Ultimate Edition, Champions Edition, Founders Edition, Constellation Edition. It doesn't matter what the name is. For certain game companies, you might as well call it for what it is. It's called the F you, give me all of your money edition. Now, I'm not saying to not spend extra money on the games that you care about, or that this final tier is always a bad thing. No. When Gears of War 3 was released, I too bought the Epic Edition for $150 US. What that got you was the base game, you got in-game weapon skins, a bonus playable character to play as, but you also got physical stuff too. You got an Octus award box, you got a COG flag, personal documents from Adam Phoenix himself, a book detailing the art and design of Gears of War, but the cherry on top was an almost 4-pound Marcus Phoenix statue, which just looks really cool. Typically, this third tier has always been reserved for the most diehard of fans, mostly for collectors who wish to collect memorabilia from the games that they love most, and there's nothing wrong with that. For Halo 3, you got something similar. You got a Master Chief helmet. With Breath of the Wild, you got a Master Sword statue. And with God of War, you got a 9-inch statue of Kratos and Atreus. And despite the new Warhammer game creating a 4th tier to get memorabilia, for the most part this tradition has not changed all that much throughout the years. But lately I've noticed something. There's a new feature I've seen popping up in this third tier that was not there in the past. A new feature called Playing the Game Early. That's right. Now, for an extra $20 to $30, you could play the game 3 to 5 days early. In an age where there are more video games than ever, why on earth would you need to spend extra money to play any game early? Especially when so many games are released in an unfinished state.
And right between the shoulder blades. And we see him take yet another shot to the body.
There's probably so many games out there that I'm sure you haven't even played yet. Like, my backlog of games to play is so long at this point that I'm only starting to play The Witcher 3 now. And yet there are people spending extra money to play a game 5 days before it even comes out. And some people may call this early access, but this is not what that is. With an early access title, you're paying to play a game that isn't finished yet. With this, you're paying to play a fully finished game. You're just paying more to play it before everyone else. It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially if the game is mostly single player. But what if it's not? What if the game is multiplayer? What if the main core of the game was built upon online play and leveling up? This is where things get a little messy. For paying more, you could essentially learn the maps before others. Not to mention bonus rewards that come with these higher tiers like XP boost packs and the likes. These may not seem like the end of the world to some people, but it's a slippery slope that game companies continue to test. Even World of Warcraft has kind of ventured into the realm of early access. Recent expansions have included forms of early access for those who invest in higher priced editions. While Blizzard limits what early access players could actually achieve, it's still a concerning trend for many in the community. Gamers worry about the future, wondering if this is the start of something bigger, the start of a larger shift. For players who purchase the standard edition, it could feel like they're being left behind, especially in a game where timing and progression are key to staying competitive. Every day I see more and more game companies jump onto this bandwagon, adding the feature of playing early to this final tier. Like with the new Civilization game coming out next year. The Founders Edition is about $130, but it doesn't come with any collectibles. It's just digital unlockables and the prestige of getting to play the game 5 days early. This, to me, is just a complete money grab, and it's a desperate ploy to get you to give them all of your money. You see, I feel like there's really only two types of people who buy video games. There's people who don't want to spend a lot of money, and then there's people who don't care about spending a lot of money. And companies know this. The people who don't spend a lot on video games are actually the majority of us, the ones who wait for a game to go on sale before you buy it. The ones who don't care about price are the ones who buy games day one, the ones who thrive on early access and digesting all of the rewards that go with it. When you look at these three different versions of this game, most people will just gravitate to the standard edition because they're not interested in buying anything more than that. But the majority of people will not buy the deluxe edition because most people will either look at the middle one and say to themselves, well, this is just not really that worth it, I'm just going to buy the standard edition. Or they're going to look at the middle one and say, well, for X amount of money, I could just get the premium edition and also get all of these other things included as well. I still think that the majority of people buying the ultimate version of a game are buying it to collect memorabilia and to show support of their favorite franchises. Most people are not spending more to simply play the game early. At least, not yet. According to the ESA, research indicates that premium editions, often bundled with early access, can significantly boost sales. For example, games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor saw higher initial sales because of this. The fact is, we are seeing more of this trend because it's obviously working for some game companies. They wouldn't be offering players to play early for extra money if it wasn't working, and you wouldn't see more of it happening if it wasn't. Let's face the reality. The gaming industry is shifting, and not always for the better. We see more companies prioritizing profit over player experience, pushing players towards these premium editions with the lure of early access. It's frustrating to watch as casual gamers are left feeling like second-class citizens in a world that rewards those willing to shell out extra cash. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Do you think that we're seeing more and more early access involved in premium tiers? Or is this just a trend that's going to be dying out soon? I'd love to know what you guys think and hear what you guys have to say about it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and comment and like the video for more stuff like this, and we'll see you guys next time.
Will Diesel seal the deal? And we have an elimination. Back suplex. Very nice. Big knee. And right between the shoulder blades.